Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, Director of the School of Integrative Psychology and facilitator of the Integrative Life Community Building course. This 8-month online course will give you the tools and support to be the Integrative Life Community Builder that you're here to become. What is spiritual community and why do we need it? There are many and diverse groups of people called spiritual communities, so it's best that we specify what we are indicating when we use the term. In my experience, there are 3 defining characteristics of spiritual community that help make clear who they are and what they do. Common intention is the first defining element of a spiritual community. Our common intention is to increase internal and external harmony, raise our consciousness and that of the planet in an inclusive way versus creating separation with others. The second defining characteristic is common practices. Raising our awareness is accomplished through freeing our breathing restrictions and mastering our mind. This can include breath work and other forms of energy work for the body, and analysis, reflection, and affirmation, prayer, for the mind. This is just to mention a few of the techniques that fall under a holistic category of body, mind, and spirit integration that we will use. The third characteristic is a common experience. We have a shared experience in workshops, classes, trainings, and even dyadic exercises such as breathwork exchanges or sharing class exercises together. We're not doing our work in isolation. We grow together through common experience and sharing. Other social trappings, such as wearing robes or shaving our heads, is not essential to our community. And in fact, I revel in the diversity we display in social backgrounds. The intentions of various communities may sound similar. For example, making the world a better place. But their practices may demonstrate a vast difference in methods employed. For example, corporal punishment for disobedience, strict dietary restrictions, and so on. Shared experiences may also differ in terms of how frequently and with what intensity members are expected to interact. Ultimately, the proof is in the pudding, as the expression goes. What are the results of participation in our community? Levels of intention, practice, and experience will vary amongst members, and that may vary over time. Being a fairly open-ended community, that is anticipated and accepted here. The trust is put more in each individual's connection to their source rather than their conformity to rules. Each person evaluates what they are deriving from participation. That is, do the tools and practices help in their intentions? Do their interactions with others give a level of spiritual connectedness they desire? Do the principles and teachings resonate with their spirit? Members of this community tend to have a relatively high degree of self-initiation, preferring interdependence rather than dependence or independent isolation. From a levels of consciousness perspective, which we've studied in past classes, they are more centralized in the sociocentric and holistic memes. And, as I say, these are tendencies because we all come with our own prior experiences and programs from other levels of consciousness. One of the ways we have played with this in our personal integration work in the past was with this exercise. Now, since this group may be relatively new to you, you may have to examine more closely your feelings about participation, the facilitator, and other members, even if you're just reading their names on a roster. What do you come in with that is similar to family expectations and what is different, either positive or negative? For example, a younger child in a family may carry a preconceived expectation that other people will know more or be more important than them in a new group. Another may feel an anticipation that the work may be too difficult, or they may be judged by others as not fitting in. Someone else may have the expectation that others will like them and have the same views socially or politically. On a conscious level, of course, you know better. But we're looking at largely unconscious patterns that color our feeling bodies. Your job with this exercise, whether you share it with another or not, is to be aware of your feelings and any judgments that you have about yourself in the process, and do your best to release any judgments that do not serve you. This will often open the doors to more options in terms of what you get from the course. The more conscious we are of our underlying dispositions, the more we can enter the group differently than we were in our family. And that is what we write in section B of the responses. This exercise, as most of them we will be doing together, will foster awareness and skills that apply to many other areas of your life. Now, complete Handout 1, Sections 1 and 2, then come back to the video. I personally have gotten great benefit from this form of spiritual community proportional to the amount I put into it. That's why I participate in doing, reflecting on, and sharing every exercise, as well as gleaning benefit from the sharing of others. I thereby feel support, see myself in the mirror of others, get inspiration, and derive resources in every class. This is what I refer to as spiritual opportunism in a very positive sense. And I highly recommend it to anyone wanting to get more than you paid for. Affirm that your benefit from every other member of our group, even if you have little direct contact with them or none. Their energy and intention is bolstering the exponential benefit that we derive from community as opposed to operating in our separate silos. It's been said that the benefit one derives from any experience is proportional to their self-esteem. Those with a lower self-esteem tend to get less from life experiences because they're less open to deserving and receiving benefit. A strong affirmation that has worked for my life satisfaction is, I don't waste my time. Now, this does not mean that I'm busy trying to accomplish things on my to-do list every moment. It means that if I am here now, engaged with what's going on in the moment, I intend to have it serve me in the highest, whether my mind judges it to be valuable or not. I assume my higher self is much wiser than my limited ego. And if I do not get the point of why I'm here right now, I will become aware of it when I'm ready. This keeps me feeling value in downtime. Though I may be resting physically and or mentally, my soul is emanating and absorbing love with every breath. The best part is I do not have to effort to get this value other than to be clear in my intention. We are here to reinforce this in one another, not by preaching, but by getting value for ourselves. A final tip I offer in getting benefit from spiritual community is that this is a working laboratory. There are no right or wrong behaviors or attitudes as long as they support our common intention. So this is the place to experiment with new behaviors and attitudes to see what assist your and the group's growth. We all win if you do this. Why be here just doing what we always do? Again, the benefit is often proportional to the risk you take to expand from a loving intention. I'll dare you to take this risk if you dare me. Deal? Course outline. Topics to be covered in our series and what you will receive from each. some tools that we'll use in this course. We invoke community creativity, intelligence, and intention directed to the support of each member's goals. Breathwork will be a clearing and energizing tool for individuals, also used for reprogramming early family dynamics brought into community relations, and as a connecting and uniting force for our collective. We will also employ the foundational internal and external materials that have fostered successful communities of spirit locally and globally. Techniques for direct experience of body energy systems mastery. Time-tested methods to increase financial security and whole being prosperity. The tools to detect and release relationship blocks and increase interpersonal joy. A direct experience of your life and lessons you've learned in other times and places. And a roadmap to freedom from major holding patterns in human consciousness evolution. Community expectations. Regardless of what may be promised as possible benefits of community participation, we carry within us a file of experiences from past communities in which we've participated, starting with our own family. It is helpful to be aware of these experiences so as not to unconsciously recreate what we fear or artificially impose expectations from your past on how it has to be in order to be acceptable to you. Let's explore some of our fears and expectations so as to make them more conscious and less rigid. Again, this is like our responses to sections 1 and 2, except it's not about ourselves as much as it is about others and other group dynamics that happen in communities we've experienced. Again, the more conscious we are of these preconceived notions, the less they filter into our perceptions and behaviors en route. Then, by focusing on our positive expectations, we plant the seeds of a more favorable outcome. Take handout 1. So complete handout 1, sections 3 and 4, and come back to the video. Sharing your responses on this handout 1 with a trusted, accepting partner helps reinforce our positive intentions. I recommend this and always do it myself. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings till next class. Blessings in light and love.